Camera straight here. Oh, we can't get this. Just a little bit further. There we go. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. Now we got it in frame here. Welcome to my show. My name is Chuck Gibson. I am a 30-year veteran of the comic book industry. I used to work for Wildstorm back in the old image days. And I was hired in April of 1994, making this like 30 years, pretty much give or take to the day. I mean, you know, a couple of weeks here. It'll be 30 years like on the dot. Anyway, what we're here to do today is to unbox and flip through Richard Bennett's Kong Godzilla book, Godzilla vs. Kong storyboard book. I've been looking forward to this. I've had this thing here since yesterday, and I've been looking forward very much to opening it up. I am sorry about the echo. I'm in a garage. There's normally a car in here kind of taking out some stuff, but we had a little plumbing emergency. I had to go out and get some stuff for that. Anyway, because of that, we won't be checking out photocopies today, as I promised. We will be unboxing this book and flipping through that. We're going to save the photocopies of Richard Bennett's stuff for another time. I don't want to cut it short. His work is really incredible, and he deserves all the credit he can get, and a little more time than I've got to give him today on some of that stuff from Wildstorm. I will get that out at some point here very soon, probably next week, and we will go through that. But for now, we're going to unbox this. I've been dying to look at this thing. I wanted to open it yesterday so badly, and I was like, no, wait for the stream, do a stream. Everybody wants to see this. Nobody has a copy of this book up. So everybody's going to be interested in taking a look. The standard issue, Amazon packaging. I got money. It says they probably didn't put any padding in this book, in this box at all. And let's see. Wait. There is. Look at this. There is this small sheet of paper here. They think that's going to do it, but there it is. There's the book. Man, I've been looking forward to this thing. All right, we got some nice edge pages here. Let's see, we can't really. I don't think I can. I'm just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way here. Tripod's up as far as it can go. So we're going to have to work with it as best we can here. Let's see if I can get it up there. There we go. Godzilla and Kong cinematic storyboard art of Mr. Richard Bennett. It says, I want to dedicate this book with all my love to my son, Oscar, to my wife, Natalia, and my sister, Fabiana. I think I pronounced everything there correctly. I hope I did. If not, please, I apologize. I'm American, and I only speak English. So, anyway, all the artwork in this book is by Richard Bennett. Here's a nice forward. Looks like by the director of the film, Adam Wingard. And here we go. This is Kong Skull Island. And you, oh, look at that. Wow. Absolutely incredible. All right. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing because I don't want to ruin Richard's book to the point where nobody buys it. But we will get a real nice sampling of all this stuff in here. Nice looking storyboard frames. Some of these are so small. Here we go. Move the camera a little bit. And you see that even these storyboards, even though they're in kind of a rough form, we're going to get less of the book this way. I'm going to have to move it around a lot more. There we go. But I won't have to pick it up so much for you to get a better look at these. Since I'm having to move it around anyway, it's not really making much of a difference. There's some color work there. I don't know if the camera's really picking that up. Some real subtle tone work on there. There's some figures in silhouette up against a rather fiery looking background. All right. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through every page of this because, you know, Richard wants to sell books. I don't blame him. This thing just went into second print. Now, it just came out in January. I guess they had some sort of crowdfund kickstart thing to get this going. But the first print, I just got an email from the publisher the other day saying that the first printing is all sold out. And they're going to second print already. So immediately, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to jump on a copy of this right now before it leaves. It's incredible stuff here. Man, I tell you what, when it comes to technological stuff and gear and all this sort of stuff, I can't think of anybody in comics or that used to work in comics that is doing stuff like this. That is just amazing. Reminds me very much of the work of Sid Mead, the concept guy, and stuff for Blade Runner, along with many other films, many other films. And Richard was, I'm guessing, unless there's somebody else that draws like that, he must have been really heavily influenced. Because every time I see him do like a control panel or something like that going on, any kind of technology, it goes immediately that, wow, just incredible stuff. Even in loose form. I mean, you know what? He probably did this quick as heck. Each one of these, honestly, this is, I think, pencils that weren't this tight. On several occasions, I have ink pages that were not this tight, where the penciler did expect you to more or less come in and help him out to the point where you're definitely the co-artist on the thing. Wow. Look at that. Look at this shot of Kong right here. It's just incredible. Wow. But check that out. So cool. Man. Now I am flipping several pages at a time because, again, I don't want to give it all away for nothing. I like these where he has the gray tone work, things like that going on. Again, every one of these. Look at that. That's a very complete illustration. By the time he sticks the tones in there and everything, and I know doing storyboards for movies, that's a demanding, fast-paced sort of job. They They are not going to give you time to sit around and think about it. You probably had to knock these things out yesterday. We need them yesterday. In fact, we need them last week. And we're going to sit here and wait while you draw them until you kick them out. So get out a pencil and get to work on the things. Knocking out here on the spot. Some rendering he's got going on here. I say these in some places like that is really, really, really elaborate for storyboard work. I have seen storyboards where it's literally a stick figure, you know. Man made out of lollipops with arms and legs. Wow. Yeah, I think Amazon still has some copies of this thing available. I tell you what, man, if you're interested in storyboard art, comic art, movies, just cool stuff in general, wow, look at that. That is amazing. I'm already glad I got this book. Well, let's hope Amazon's got some copies of it left. You can get one. This sucker's mine. It will not be leaving the house. Wow. Kong kicking butt on some dinosaurs over here. Ooh. Keyframes. Says this is Kong versus the Skull Crawler. These are keyframes for the movie. They get these first to get an overall tone, I guess. As I understand, I am certainly not an expert on this sort of stuff. Richard will tell you all about it. But unfortunately, trying as hard as I did, boy, I could not become Richard Bennett. Wasn't for lack of trying. Because early on in my career, I was using a lot of the same sorts of textures that he was, trying to do his every move because he just did such realistic textures in comics. And he is holding back on it some here, not seeing so much of it because this is a different kind of gig, you know? This is supposed to be finished art for presentation, although, like I said, I've gotten hold of plenty of pencil artwork that was not that tight. That is complete stuff. You can hand that to me, I can scan that in, and I can give you back complete artwork. No fuss, no muss. Most of this stuff is tight enough to go into inking right from where it's at. I like these. These almost look like comic book pages down here. Now you can find Richard on Instagram. Interesting to see. I'd have to ask him some point to see how big he's drawing frames like these. I'm pretty sure those aren't actual size. I could be wrong though. You know, he came from he worked with Neil Adams over at Continuity Studios. And if you've ever seen Neil Adams's thumbnails, they look a lot like this level of tightness to the stuff. And I guess Neil Adams would do those things really, really small, like 4x6, just a little bit bigger than an index card. They make 4x6 index cards. But yeah, 4x6, man. I mean, like quarter of a sheet of typing paper or something. And he would do a little thumbnail like these of the finished comic book page. Blow that sucker up to size, and it would cut a lot of his work out. You get it figured out at this size, and I tell you, it's pretty much bulletproof when you go to blow it up because you've already got it all figured out. And you'll get a lot of people going, "Oh, I'd rather just draw it big. I'm more comfortable with drawing bigger and this and that." And which my answer is, dude, if you can't work it out at this size, you haven't figured out how to work it out. Because it should be easier here where you can see the whole thing all in one shot. Get a look at it, both the composition and the proportions of the figure, how they're blocked into the backgrounds, where they're standing, more compositional sort of stuff. Wow. Yeah, see, this looks a lot like Neil Adams thumbnails. Just a ton. I'm sure he must have been influenced by that stuff. I sure saw a bunch of stuff that he did at Continuity that, wow, granted he was doing finishes over Adams. I think he was working with thumbnails like I'm talking about. But I thought of all the guys that came out of Neil Adams' studio, he was one of the guys that was closest at getting that Neil Adams look, but yet bringing something to it at the same time. Like, it was drawn, it looked like Neil, but it was inked, it looked like Richard. So that was kind of cool. I really love that stuff. Like, if you get a chance, see any stuff in back issue bins, go look for Cyber Rad. That would have been out early 90s, I'm going to say. Anywhere from 90 to about 92, somewhere in there. So, had kind of a sporadic publishing schedule to it. But the first 4 or 5 issues have work on them, either pencils, inks, or both by Richard. That's where I first discovered his work. And then I got hired at Wildstorm and found out, he'd moved over there. He'd gone to Marvel for a little bit and done some stuff with them. And then Jim Lee made him an offer the same way that Jim made me an offer, and got him in there in the studio. Richard did some great stuff on brass and some finishes and inks, quite a few things. He could really bring something special to the page, to what you were doing. Yeah. Wow. Just amazing stuff. That is so cool. Let's go this way. See some of the stuff on this side. I know I'm omitting this stuff on this side, but again, Richard wants to sell books, and I'm here to help him if I can. I'm a big fan of his stuff. Have been for a long time, and I like turning people on to new artists, new artwork. Wow. You can definitely see the Neil Adams influence going on in his work. A little bit of flair of Neil here and there. It's not a whole bunch. I mean, he's not a slave to it. He definitely has some other things going on. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll flip through a little bit quicker here because we went about halfway through. we're a good 20 minutes into this video. I'm on a bit of a time crunch here. Like I said, I had some plumbing issues. If I hadn't made the announcement that I was going to go live with this sucker today, and I hadn't already sat around waiting for a full day to open it, I probably would have skipped. Probably would have skipped this live broadcast. I probably would have postponed it for another time. But I'd already announced it. I'd already tagged Richard. I'd already tagged Clover Press. Now, I told everybody I'm not going to let them down. I'm at least going to go through and flip this book, especially in light of the fact that I have been dying to flip through this book since yesterday. Wow. It's incredible stuff. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they've got some nice shots from the movie. You can kind of see, I guess, Richard went ahead and did these little drawings here. And then there's what they came up with in the actual film, I guess. I guess those are shots from, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are shots from the movie. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he did those. I'm pretty sure those are movie stills, though. Just to compare what he got. Ooh, 3 heads on this sucker. I want to see this movie. Just incredible stuff. Yeah, I really hadn't heard anything about this movie one way or the other. But if Richard's drawings are any indication, man, it must be cool. Godzilla versus Kong. Wow. It's just incredible. I'm so glad I got this. Man. This is great stuff. You don't usually get to see this kind of work. I did some storyboards. I did some storyboard work with Rick Hoberg, the old comic artist Rick Hoberg. He went off from comics in the 80s and got into the old animation field, doing storyboards for them. And I was doing what they call storyboard cleanup. Robert's telling me that the new Godzilla Kong was pretty darn good. Oh, I just noticed I can see the chat. Kind of. Here we go. Daniel Goodwin's here. See, I'm just learning how to do this stuff. So, sorry, guys. But yeah, I guess the new Godzilla Kong was pretty good. I've been waiting to see it. I don't get the movie too much. I'll probably wait till somebody's streaming it, honestly. But yeah, man, I mean, if you're into movie production, if you're into storyboards, if you're into artwork done for movies, man, this is just killer. Just killer. Oh, I love this stuff when he's doing the gray tones as well. Get a lot of depth. Has more of a level of finish to it. My understanding now, I talked to a friend of mine that is a contemporary of Richard's. My friend Jason Hall, who used to assist me when I was inking comics 30 years ago. He was going to get into comics, but at that time they were downsizing. They weren't letting anybody in. So what does Jason do? Jason goes to school, to the Gnomon School, and learns to do art for movies and leaves comics behind. I tell you what, they lost out big. They lose more great artists because they just can't compete financially. You know, a guy doing storyboards like this for these simple drawings. Now, granted, you have to do a lot more of them, but you get paid so much better than you do, or at least you did for comics, at least for animation storyboards. You know, I was doing storyboard cleanup over Rick Holberg, which is basically like inking. Rick would give me blue line pencils, and I would come in and ink the thing, finish it up with markers, let him move a little faster, and work a little looser. He preferred to have that kind of freedom in his line and let somebody else come in and nail it down to a finished line. Like the collaboration aspect of it. I worked on a few episodes of the Mommy animated series doing quick cleanup work over Rick Holberg. That's a pretty fun experience. I was working with Rick Holberg and Walking Dead inker Stefano Gaudiano. This guy I've known for, 25, 30 years almost. Dan Goodwin's asking me, do storyboard artists get to sell their work? It becomes property of the studio, I guess. That's one positive for comic art over storyboard art. I don't have, and I have photocopies of all the storyboard cleanup work that I did over Rick Holberg, and we will be going through that stuff at some point. I am going to dig all this stuff out of the bin, and you guys are going to be subjected to looking at 30 years worth of junk I got laying around. But it'll be new to you. It'll be some cool stuff. It's like I said, you don't really get to see any of this. They more or less scoop it up, and you've got your photocopies, and that's all you get to see of it ever again. I think. I'm not sure. I don't think they get returned. I haven't heard of anybody getting storyboard artwork back. My guess is that you'd have to do it the way they're doing it today. I guess my understanding is that that Richard draws these on little pieces of paper, and he carries like I was told he has like a portable scanner where he scans these things in and then finishes them up digitally. Now, I don't know what level they're at when he's got them on paper, but my understanding is that's how he was working anyway. That's what my friend Jason was telling me that he was doing, that he was still drawing on paper and then scanning in and finishing up. So, can't argue with the result. I will say that. Yeah, I'm going to be going through this stuff. I can see Dan going, heck yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at all that stuff from the crate. Man, I tell you what, I'm going to pull out some stuff out of that crate that you would not believe. Little drawings I got here and there. Lots and lots and lots of photocopies. Because I worked at Wildstorm and they had the photocopy machine there on the site, and they were really, really cool about it. They knew it's a studio full of artists. You're going to want copies of this stuff. So I literally used to go through the inbox in the editorial office. I'd be in there dropping off pages, and I'd go to that inbox, and I would flip through. I'm flipping through this inbox going, all right, who's got pages for me to look at today? And I tell you what, I'd see something I like, and I would grab that thing up, take it over to the photocopy it right then and there, I think I wasn't the only one. Everybody just abused the heck out of that thing. He must have spent a small fortune on toner for that machine. Because, wow. The temple arrival, interior. See, now, I guess Rob's seen the movie, so maybe you can tell me, like, well, obviously they're using shots from in here. That's the whole point. Jeez. But yeah, wow, just amazing stuff. And this is a thick book too. This is page 363 over here now. So yeah, this is a good thick book. And you can see, with the exception of just a few photographs to show you the comparison of what they did in the final version, this thing is wall-to-wall storyboards. Wow. So cool. Yeah, I used to abuse that copy machine like crazy. I would go in there, like I said, grab up everything I saw in that inbox. Usually lots of inks. I wasn't studying a lot of pencil work at that time because I wasn't aspiring to be a penciler. And I already had like a huge stack of photocopies like you would not believe. And that's going with mainly inks. Now, I do have some pencils, photocopies of pencils by Jim Lee. I do have photocopies of pencils by some other guys there in the studio. But mainly, I would get photocopies of the finished ink pages to study. So, like Gen 13, I think I've got the first 4-5 issues of Gen 13, like the whole damned issue in full-size photocopies taken from the original art. Same thing with Brass. Hey, someone's saying, thanks for getting my back, man. Absolutely. Listen to what someone's saying. Hit that like button. Please subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. I'm trying to bring you guys some stuff here that I've got laying around. I know my production values aren't great. My camera sucks. But man, I got some cool stuff. When it comes to show and tell, I got some stuff to show, man. So this is just the latest acquisition. And I wanted to share with you some good content here. I know that Richard and Clover Press still trying to get the word out about this book. A lot of people didn't know about it. A lot of people are going to miss out. Like I said, it's already on second print, man. So I tell you what, Amazon still had copies of this thing this morning. Under $50. I tell you what, like I said, as soon as I heard they were going to second print, like, all right, I got to get a first. Because it's going to jump up in price. Everybody's going to go, oh, crap, I should have jumped on that thing. I didn't know how cool it was. And then it's going to be, wah, wah. You either can't get one, or all you can get one is second print. Like I said, the thing's been out less than 6 months. It's already sold out of first printing. So, yeah, if you want one of these things, I would advise that you get all over to Amazon and order one of these. And if you don't get to it in time, I would get on Instagram and go looking for Clover Press and start following them. I'm sure they're going to do an announcement when the second print comes out, just to let everybody know. Let's see, we've got Afterward here by Stephane Deschamps. I believe is how you pronounce that. I'm not sure. And you got some acknowledgments. Um, see if I recognize the names there. Ted Adams over at Clover Press, and Robbie Robbins, Hank Canals. Yeah, and then we've got guys from the studio, Ian Hannon, used to work over there and doing some coloring and stuff. Wow. Yeah, I guess this was a crowdfunded deal. I'd like to express my gratitude to all the backers who supported the book's campaign. And apparently it must have done really well if we're going to second print, man. Somebody's going to see the value in this. Now, Richard has told me that he does not sell his original artwork. The book is called, Robert's asking, let's make sure we pitch this thing. That is Godzilla and Kong, the cinematic storyboard art of Richard Bennett. Like I said, go to Amazon right now. You can probably get some copies of it still. But you don't have very many. I would get it soon. But yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. I just want to go through this. Been here about 30 minutes. So yeah, if you're into storyboards, if you're into cool artwork, if you're into giant monsters fighting each other, go pick yourself up a copy of this book. Godzilla and Kong, the cinematic storyboard art of Richard Bennett. Absolutely fantastic book. So glad I got this. A nice presentation. Eyes open nice and flat. You got this nice little bookmark here with it. Keep your page. Great coffee table book. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I got for today. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate you. Again, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. I am going to have some more stuff coming up probably here within the next week because we are going to go through those Richard Bennett copies here real soon. Someone saying says, thanks for sharing, Chuck, and you're absolutely welcome. I'm really happy to go through this and look through it and share with you guys. I couldn't find anybody that had a copy of this online. I bought it blind. So I was like, you know what? I like Richard Bennett stuff, and I'm a big geek of movie art. So I'm going to roll the dice, take a chance. I couldn't be happier with it. It's just incredible. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to join me. Again, this is Chuck Gibson, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.